Welcome to session 4 for cohort 10. We are going to just review our program goals. Our program goals are to support you in getting clarity of your artistic practice and the specific project you'll be working on, to develop your grant writing skills and provide a deep understanding of the funding and development ecosystem in the arts, to complete a grant application based on the Arts Collab framework developed for the SFAC, CAC, and DCA individual grants. And please note that this application is your canvas to get clarity on your vision and how to identify the resources you need to bring that vision into physical reality. Today's goals involve, we're going to be doing a 1-minute project summary, and we'll be talking about artistic relevance, connecting work samples to the hand, reviewing the concept of getting support materials and a letter of support, and just doing a remembering of the contextualization of grant research that we talked about earlier in some of our earlier sessions. So right now, what I'd like to do is start with an opening question. Arturo, if you can drop this into the chat, and then we'll also drop it into the broadcast message. What would you like to get out of today's session? And that's one question that you might ask yourself, or share the answer with your buddy. And the other one is, where do you have clarity in your artistic practice and the specific project you'll be working on? So again, what would you like to get out of today's session? And Arturo, thank you for dropping those in the chat. And where do you have clarity in your art practice? So I'm going to go ahead and start dropping us into breakout rooms. There will be one room of 3, so you'll each have about a minute each to share your ideas.
I was trying to pull it up, but this is good. Okay, so the what is, I will be creating a multi-sensory installation combining hand-sewn translucent Khayamea applique panels inspired by Egyptian tents, applique tents, with video projection of water, with the purpose of soothing the nervous system and also inspiring activism around protecting water. The location will start in various locations in Oregon with a goal to expand to other locations. It will also, part of the location will be studying in Egypt to learn the traditional Khayamea applique tent technique. The when is, it'll take about 2 years to make the panels. The how is with much funding and assistance and travel. Is that enough? I feel like
that's perfect. Okay. The only thing that I might have a question about is, what is the Khayamea? Early on, you say Khayamea, and then you say, Egyptian will be based on Egyptian tent making, but like maybe just saying Khayamea, an Egyptian tent making.
Yeah.
Application.
Yeah, I was kind of flustered. Yeah. Okay. So
but it's perfect. Dina. You're muted, darling.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, so my project is a series, like a workshop series, and oh shit, I was busy writing it down. Sorry. So yes, it's a workshop series for youth, educators, families, and anybody that's been affected by gun or police violence. Where? Oakland, Bay Area. When? Yesterday. Like today, tomorrow, when it's needed. And how? Pretty much it's like a la brava. It's like you just do it by any means necessary, pretty much, with whatever resources I have. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Julie?
Hold on. I wanted to add something to Dina. Just 1 second. Dina, it sounds very powerful. It really sounds really powerful. I know that, I know that this is like you're saying your answers, but I think that it would be really cool to have a little more clarity on the resources that you could need to get the support that you need, you know? Mostly why? Because when you're presenting it to people, you can, and this is very important for everybody, we can create a window where they can pick in and look at how they can support us, right? What do we need? We need the support of people. We need people to volunteer. We need people to donate materials, people to donate money. That would be kind of like a good resolution to what you have.
And then also just a little bit of details about like what type of workshops, like is it going to be making recycled flowers? What's going to happen in the workshops? Okay, and everybody, just take some notes for yourself during this time as well. Julie?
Yes, so I will be producing a 3-act play regarding it's a migration story about my family's history, where in San Antonio, Texas, when, gauging summertime, and how with the community.
Can you repeat the how?
Yeah, with the community.
So would that be like it would take place in like a theater, or?
Yeah, it would take place either in a theater or a local community space, which would allow a theatrical performance.
Okay. So yeah, as you get closer, you can say, like Brava, or like if you choose a location. My proposed location would be, or here are 5 proposed locations.
Okay.
You can also propose it in a couple of ways. Like, if you haven't written it yet, you can do it in phases. Like phase 1 is to write it. Phase 2 is to finish writing it. Phase 3 is to rehearse it and produce it. So you can that's not unheard of for theatrical work. Trey.
Let me look at okay. So what? A vendor market with an art installation and film center, where San Francisco, California, when upon grant award letter, 6 months after probably, and how find the space, find the good people, make the film, plan the process, make it happen.
Okay, Trey, what happened to your community-based, your other project?
Which the
interactive art installation and networking event.
Yes, sorry about that. Still the same project, but added a vendor market component to the project.
Okay, so I'm gonna just have you reset and use your summary that you have.
Okay.
So can you go again?
For sure. Give me 1 second to pull up the summary. There we go. Okay. I will be putting together a 3-week 5-event session with a film-based art installation called, so far, with a title of Healing Through Self-Expression. Each one of the events will have a title of its own, but the overall theme is Healing Through Self-Expression. 3 weeks, 5 events. It will be centered around networking and art installations, but there also will be a vendor market component attached to it as well. I hope to have it in the spring or upon grants completion. Also, it will be in San Francisco, California.
Okay, Folks, share an emoji if you could hear the difference when he went back and read his actual statement and the details. If you had a better sense of what he was doing. Okay, Alma?
I am producing a series of events called Femme Rage. They're QT BIPOC femme-centered spaces where femmes across the gender spectrum are given safer, curated, and creative outlets to rage, release, and renew through interactive art and music experiences such as rage rooms, paint rage, scream therapy, community murals, open mics, music, and dance performance. Femme Rage will provide creative outlets to release anger and frustration we hold in our bodies, minds, and spirits about living, surviving, thriving within an imperialist, cis, hetero capitalist white supremacist patriarchy. I hope to do the first regional Femme Rage this year in August, and a proposed venue for that would be YBCA or Somarts. And I hope to do this project through development, through residencies and fellowships, and complete the events through funding such as grants and donations.
Lovely. I hope you apply for the Summer Arts grants, residencies. Afi.
Sorry, I'm mid chewing. Can you come back to me?
Sure. Denny.
I am looking for opportunities to support families that they are separated from their children and bringing awareness to the community and in ways that people can support through an event that can support with flowers, music, and prayers. That is what, where, in a facility where they are detained, and when in the summer, as soon as possible. How, with the support of everybody that want to jump in, and who, with all the community.
Thank you. Jabril, what are some of the ideas that you have brewing?
Hi. Sorry. Okay, can you hear me?
We can't hear you. If need be, you can prop it in the chat.
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So one of the ideas that I've been ruminating on is what I call the SF Jam Station. It's a series of community-based music events, specifically for opening up to the community jam sessions, and it's going to be in San Francisco. The goal is to have it in neighborhoods that have least access to music venues or community spaces where music can be performed. The goal is to inspire community engagement, as well as fostering spaces that are safe, that people can feel safe to play music, whatever level of musicianship that they're at, and then as well is to learn and share between musicians that maybe have more experience and those that are starting out, as well as being able to offer to the community a space where people can network and gather to expand their connections. I'm looking to get involved the local businesses, cafes, restaurants, community spaces, prioritizing BIPOC community spaces as well, or businesses that
Unfortunately, you're cutting out really a lot. But what I'm hearing you say is jam stations in community spaces, prioritizing BIPOC um, spaces, and it being intergenerational and like inner skill levels. So like emerging and virtuoso performers would perform in the same space. Is that what I'm hearing you say, Jabril?
Oh no, we
Oh.
lost him.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to log back in.
Yeah, I really like this project. You know, it sounds like a really good, powerful way to make community, to build community. You know.
Hey, Jabril, welcome back.
Hey, sorry. Did y'all catch what I said? I think I heard you. And yes, that's pretty much it.
And Arturo wanted to add a couple of just observations before we move on to our next section.
Oh yeah. No, Jibril, I really like this. I think that it really, you know, adds a component of community building to the scene, right? I feel like the San Francisco scene is not a scene anymore. It used to be a scene. It used to be a like mini aisles of, you know, collectives of musicians collaborating and doing things together. And I feel like that has been lost a little bit. And I think that this idea has a really strong component of community organizing, community development, and particularly, you know, I think that you can look at the data on gentrification, and that would be a very solid statement for your cultural equity. You know, 70% of artists in the last 10 years, 70% of artists in San Francisco have experienced some form of displacement, either from their homes, their working spaces, or their performance spaces. And some of the hardest hit communities and musicians, because a lot of the venues where they used to perform are actually now just, you know, boba tea spaces. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot to say about creating community spaces for musicians.
Anybody have anything you'd like to ask your fellow cohort members about their projects, or any observations you have? We have a couple minutes from what came up for you, or maybe what inspired you with some of the things that your cohort members are up to.
Thank you. Oh, is it for me?
For everyone, you can start, Jabril.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I'm just really inspired by everyone's, you know, everyone's ideas that I've heard so far. I really appreciate you know, we're all experiencing, you know, this system that we're dealing with, and giving rise to all of these solutions. And I'm really appreciating that everyone has different angles on essentially, you know, we're trying to build a new culture of equity, and you know, all these beautiful things, and I love hearing everyone's approaches to it.
Great. So I'm going to, anyone else like to add anything before we move on to our next section? Ima?
Hi, yeah, definitely co-sign on what Jabril said. I'm curious about Dina. I want to know more about your workshop. Like, I want to know details. And then Julie, I want to know like what kind of theater you want your play to be in. Like, I just want more of the picture.
So the question was, what kind of theater?
Yeah, like what theater do you see your play in?
Well, there's a couple that I do have in mind. One has to do with, I would say it's like really connected to my roots just because it's nearby where I live. I've always been a part of that space for quite some time. And it just feels like it would be really cool to do it there, only because I was started by Chicano and indigenous people. So for it to take place there will honestly be ideal. There is another space though that does more, how do you say, devised theater, more more theater that doesn't really tailor to a specific race, but they do have an open mind when it comes to artistic ideas and having, like, giving artists platforms to express those ideas. So it's really between those two theaters that I'm looking at right now.
What are the
Yeah.
names of the theaters?
So the first one is the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, and the second one is Jumpstart Performance Company. Jumpstart Performance Company.
Cool. I haven't heard of either of those spaces.
Never? Oh, wow, yeah. Supposedly, like, I don't know, Guadalupe is known, like, has a reputation countrywide. So I've heard. I mean, I didn't realize that either, and it's down the street from me too. So it feels cool just to, be very nearby a space like that was just funded and started by pretty much the people who lived in the neighborhood, and still going pretty strong to this day.
I love it.
Thank you.
You can draw a connection between the nature of your play and the space that you're looking for. That would be a part of the narrative that you can develop, particularly talking about cultural equity and finding the right placement for your narrative for the play.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to our artistic narrative.
All right. Okay, so dear friends, we are past half of our time together. This is past the middle of our training, and I wanna take a moment to look at our grant template. Again, this template was created using the grants that agencies like the San Francisco Arts Commission, the California Arts Council, and the Department of Cultural Affairs of LA put together. So the collateral that you are now developing, that you're now writing, will support you in applying for some of these things. If you go around looking for grants, and I know that some of you have been doing this, looking for particular grants for you, you will see that more or less the grants will be asking for some of this content. Some of them will be asking it in a different way, but it's mostly, summary, your cultural equity, your artist bio, and then we're looking at the artist relevance today. Okay. Before that, I want to take a moment and zoom out. We have divided our grant into two main parts. Your narrative questions. This is the why, right? Like, why are you picking this project? Why is it relevant for you? Why are you the person that is, why do you have what things place you as an ideal candidate, as an ideal person to develop this particular project, right? So today we're going to be looking at this, the relevance and the work samples, and then after we go through the why, we are going to focus on the how, right? Your ideas and processes, the people that you're collaborating with, the impact that you're seeking to have in the community, your personal impact, what is going to happen after you have developed this project, and the specific grant plan, like what is the way in which you're going to be building this up. So today we're basically going to be rounding the why. And we're going to start with the artistic relevance. Tell us about your experience relevant to your project. Now, when you look at this, I want to go back to our model of the hand. I promise this hand is better than the last one that we draw. It's not perfect, it's better. So just reeling it back, that every part of your project, of your narrative will be in connection with each other, right? So when you're talking about yourself in your artist bio, the highlights of your practice, the projects that you have developed, when you present your work samples, your resume, your artistic relevance, your cultural equity, everything is going to be somewhat aligned, right? And to that end, we're going to give you a handout to talk about artistic relevance. But artistic relevance, in short, is all the experiences, the professional experiences that you have had that have informed you on how to develop this particular project and how to do it successfully, right? So in other words, it might be that you don't have a experience, say Julie, as an example. Julie, I am writing and producing a theater play. Okay, it might be that I haven't had a full experience as a writer and a director, but I might have had experience before as a writer, right? My experience as a writer in these past experiences have informed the way into, how to build stories. And my experience as a director in these other projects have allowed me to understand how to work directly with people, how to build a calendar, how to do all of these things, right? So the sum of all of these things will create an argument for why you are prepared to develop this particular project. Now, some of these things that you're mentioning in your artistic relevance will also be shown in your work samples, right? For example, actually, I'm going to use as a reference the work of Julie, because we had coaching today, and I think that it is that we can take this as a good example. Give me just a second. Julie. Here. This is a summary that she just read. And over here we have her artist bio. We're gonna take the artist bio for right now. She has been a teaching artist and theater director for this program, for the Teen Arts Puentes project, right? So as you know, your artist bio is a very short, 150 words. So you have to go like, bam, bam, bam. You have to be very specific about what you're saying. Sorry, very, very general about what you're saying, and just highlight it, right? Now, some of a lot of the highlights of your experience, you can develop it a little more, right? Actually, for example, and we were just talking about this project, she has been teaching, this particular project lasted from 2007 to 2014, and that is also the time that she was, working specifically on the Teen Arts Puentes project. So when you get to your artistic relevance, so when you talk about your artistic relevance, you can develop it a little more and say, during my tenure as a teaching artist and theater director for the Teen Arts Puentes project, I was able to collaborate with over 100 artists, 100 students, and put together 7 or 8 plays. These experiences inform me on how to develop successful projects and how to collaborate actively with people, creating models of collaboration that transcend the theater space and become real connections in real life. This is just an example, right? Now, if we develop this as an idea, then we can create a work sample that is, you know, a gathering of the pictures that you have during your time working there, or maybe a video snippet of a couple of the plays that you directed during your time working on this project, right? So, and furthermore, maybe for when we're looking at our support materials and we're looking at letters of support. I don't have any, we don't have any here, but when we're looking at our letters of support, maybe your letter of support is from someone from this institution, from the Historic Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, and they can say, you know, to whom in my concern, I want to give my endorsement to Julie Marin for her exceptional work between this and this year, hosting or as a teaching artist and theater director for the Arts and Activists program, the Teen Arts Puentes project. So when you look at it like that, you're building your narrative, right? Like you're not saying it just once and moving to the next thing. No, you're hammering it down. Like the people in the panel are going to know that you work here. They're gonna know the knowledge that you derive, the experiences that you derive from working in there, and the way that, you know, that the results that you had, right? The results that you had in the people that you worked with, and the impact that your work had on those people, the impact that you had on your community through this particular work, right? Do we have any questions? Do you guys have any question about a specific part of your experience that you would like to try to engage to integrate into your grant? Amira? Oh, Aima?
I'm just trying to wrap my head around what you shared. So you're saying that in the artist bio, we're like referencing also like what we are going for in our grant. So like curating the bio to reflect specifically what the grant is talking about.
It's two different things. We have our artist bio
Okay.
and our artist relevance. So are you talking about your artist bio or your artist relevance?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not sure
Don't worry.
what I'm talking about.
Let me be a little more clear then. So your artist bio is a blurb of your career. Your artist bio is, you know, the highlights. Your artist relevance goes into detail about the specific projects. So a lot of times you would only, you know, you would be very succinct in your artist bio. And for your artist relevance, you might want to bring up 3 to 4 different things that are all connected to the project that you're trying to develop, right? So in your artist bio, you might say, oh, I want a prize. For example, in my bio, I have participant in these different fellowships. But those fellowships might not be necessarily connected to the project that I'm developing. So in my artist relevance, I'm going to take time to break apart the different parts of my experience that are related to the project specifically, right? Therese, you wanted to add something?
You pretty much covered what I'm at. Essentially what you want to do is stay as close to the pocket as possible for things that are related to what you're trying to get funded. So like if you're going to give 3 to 5 examples, have the majority of those examples of your work be related to the project you're trying to get funded, and you know what your role is going to be, and it's showing that you have successfully done that, or that you're going to have collaborators that you can call in to fill the places, you know, fill the spaces that you don't have the experience in.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Amira, you had a semi question, and then let me raise you one question. what would be some of the experiences that you would like to use in your artistic relevance?
Okay, I'm starting with that, or,
I mean, however you want to.
okay. Well, I just started like taking notes and like talked about this a little bit with Mo, but so I was thinking about, I always struggle with like my work with students, which is high schoolers, versus my artistic practice. And someday I'd love to connect those a little bit more. I've done a lot of community projects with kids that are like murals for the community, transforming spaces. Like, it just becomes clear when I start talking to you guys. Okay, we've done okay, yeah. Here's one I'm wondering if I know the ones I should definitely include. Like I created a backdrop for an international dance camp where textiles transformed the space, and then it became a permanent wall hanging at the church. And it was about the identities in the Yakima Valley in Washington. So that's like one success, and it was Jaime imagery, the Egyptian textile design. So that's one I would definitely use. And then I did a set design for a play called Does My Head Look Big in This at the high school here. And it was 3 panels with like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. But I designed the geometric patterns to embed those symbols. And so it was like long, big textiles with light, again, transforming a space, making it a sacred space. And then a commission where I did, created these panels, and they created like a path, like a blessing space. You had to walk through it to get to the fundraiser event, and like the video went through the textile and blessed the people as they walk through. So I have like those I will definitely include, but I'm wondering about if I should include any of my work with students. I created a curriculum at a school called, it was a community art class, and the whole goal was, because as an art teacher, people come to you constantly, can your kid do a mural, can your students do this project? And it was like, well, I'm actually running an art program, and it's hard to, I was like, I just need to make a class that's all we do. So created a course where it was like a collaborative model, and everything the students created was of service. And so first they did something for each other. It was like an onion. They started with each other, and then they designed art for the building, and then they designed public art for the community, the larger community. But I've never thought of including that in an artist grant, and I don't know if, and it's a long time ago. That was a long time ago. We've done photographs for the hospital, tile mosaics for like dialysis centers, or we interviewed the patients, like a lot of stuff where they're, but it's not my personal practice. It's just helping kids be part of the community,
Yeah, well, I think I would say that there is a connection between creating collaborative spaces through the development of a collaborative model or a pedagogy that includes the voices and the efforts of everybody. So that has a direct connection to, now I'm trying to again develop a collaborative space where people feel empowered to show up and to contribute, right? Like that is a very powerful argument in letting them know. Because remember folks, the pitch that we're doing, that we're creating is we're letting them know that we are knowledgeable and ready to develop on these ideas, to applicate these ideas in real time, in the real world. Now, a lot of people who are trying to apply for grants that don't belong to their practices, and Julie, you and I had a conversation about this in one of our sessions, is, when you are pitching to something that you haven't done, there will be a gap. There will be a gap of like, I intend to do this. And a lot of times when you don't have the experience, it sounds like there is a certain sense of gravitas that is missing. I imagine that, like I intend to do this, I intend to create a collaborative space by inviting people to participate, right? 2 years ago, I was in a panel, and the person was pitching an idea to host a space for 500 Black kids in San Francisco, right? And then the panelists were like, okay, listen, you know, it's painful to say this, but where are you going to get 500 Black kids in San Francisco? There's, you know, like the Black population in San Francisco has, you know, gone down so much that, you know, this person clearly does not work in that community. And because they don't work in that community, it's very easy to say, oh, we're just going to invite 500 kids, you know. And that was a major reason for which this person didn't get the grant, because they were clearly making up part of what, you know, like part of what the experience that they were presenting was clearly made up. So I think that, you know, if you have the experience, bring it up. You might want to push the gas on some of them. You know, some of your experience, you might say 1 or 2 lines, and some of your experiences, the ones that, you know, like make the ones where you're not, when you're more knowledgeable and where you have more experience, you may want to break it down and explain it more, because you will have that sense of knowledge, gravitas to your ideas, right? And one particular advice that I have for you hearing about your project is, you know, a lot of these public funds will have a lot to say about spiritual practice and religious practices, right? Is not to say that we cannot break it down. And this is, I would recommend you to look for the work of this organization called Alternate Roots and House of Spirits. This is in North Carolina. These organizations were part of the fellowship that I was just a part of, and they are utilizing spirituality to do community organizing. I was mesmerized by this because generally speaking, you don't hear terms like spirituality, you don't hear terms about you know, religious practices as a way to improve community, because, you know, like government is very anti all of these things. But they were making a case about a call for compassion, a call for vulnerability, a call for you know, honesty, and other things that are attached to spiritual practices that are not necessarily calling it a spiritual practice, right? You know, or in another case, you can present your pitch for what a ritual creation means in your cultural equity argument, right? You know, the function of ritual creation is the gathering of the community and the agreement, the collective agreement that something is I don't want to use the word holy, but that something is sacred, right? The collective agreement on the you know, that something is sacred generates a sense of ritual. For my project, I'm trying to develop a space of shared community that elevates my work, or elevates this collaborative piece to a space of sacredness. And we can work on the language a little more, but the idea would be not presenting the idea as, because this is sacred, I want people to embrace it, but rather I want people to come together, and in this collective experience, we will elevate this to the status of a ritual or a sacred practice. I don't know if it makes full sense, but we can talk more about it.
I'm just checking, you were talking to both Julie and I, right? But this part was for my piece, right?
For your piece,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not really any particular like religion or anything. It's more about just the sacredness of water and the natural world and our place in it. Like, it's not really about. And I'm just using signs of the sacred from the Middle East, which are across all religions there. They use the same aesthetic. It's not really a specific religion or anything.
Yeah. No. I do hear you.
Yeah.
I myself, I'm in a personal spiritual journey for my life. But, you know, like, just being real about the the way that some of these institutions, you know, might take on that. But anyway.
So how would you, I'm just like, what are the red flags? Is it's like, if I'm naming it as sacred rather than creating something together, is that like?
I guess, well, the thing is, I would really love to like see the grant that you're applying for before I give you any advice on it, because you know it's really about the grant. But I feel like in general, if you're going for public funds, it's just smart to present your thesis of what is something that is sacred, or how are you building what is sacred, so that then you can talk about it freely, you know. Does anybody have any more questions or comments before we move to the next part? Okay, our next part is very connected to this, and this is a conversation about work samples. Now, yes, let me bring you to the handout that we're going to be sharing with you about this is sorry for the confusion. This is about our artistic narrative. This is the handout that we're gonna share with you, and you can, if anyone can help me read. We're just gonna read one of these statements. Does anybody want to read it? We can do 2 paragraphs and two paragraphs.
I'll read it.
All right.
So just the first 2 paragraphs?
Yeah.
Okay. I have the professional experience to support all aspects of the production and design of a bilingual photo book and the curation of a photo exhibition accessible to the public to share the resulting work, as well as the community relationships necessary to establish partnerships, collaborations, and drum up support for this project. I've been documenting San Francisco's Latinx community as a photojournalist and writer since 2008, earning the trust of many mission-based organizations and leaders, largely through my work as a photojournalist for El Tecolote newspaper.
Yeah.
This trust has helped me access many spaces where other photographers might not be easily welcomed or know how to navigate.
Beautiful. Julie? You're muted, my friend.
Sorry, it's just really small on my screen. I've been, right? That's what we're starting. Okay. I've been documenting the impact of the pandemic since its beginning, either independently on assignment for El Tecolote newspaper and during an art residency at San Francisco's COVID Command Center earlier this year. These experiences will help me gain access to continue my documentation of this ongoing pandemic.
Okay, I'm an award-winning journalist. So note a couple of things here. She's already saying since 2008, working for the Tecolote, an art residency at SF COVID Command Center. So these are all things that she will have in her resume. Some of them are in her bio, and very, very, very important. Some of these are directly connected to her work samples, and I'll go to her work samples in a little bit. I'm an award-winning journalist and writer covering themes of art, culture, immigration, gentrification, and most recently, the pandemic. I've conducted hundreds of interviews in my career and written dozens of stories, and this experience will guide me as I research and write the text for the book. So she's planning on releasing a book with the covering that she did of the Latinx community during the pandemic. I have 7 years of experience doing layout design for bilingual print publications, including 2 booklets and multiple newspapers and newsletters. I created, produced, and curated Latino Life for 5 years, an exhibition showcasing the best photography from El Tecolote newspaper for 5 consecutive years. And for those of you who don't know, El Tecolote is a very well-known local, is the longest running bilingual newspaper in the west of the country, at least. And you know, so she's bringing kind of like that lure with her, like, you know, I'm working for El Tecolote, been doing this for El Tecolote, and she's like hammering it down. Right now, I've been documented the impact of the pandemic. We put here her work sample, and her work sample is a link to her page, right? Her portfolio page. This is what she's talking about. These are all the pictures. So in here, you can already see the value of her work, right? All of these people working together, the Latino community, you know, collaborating. You know, we had a food bank, self-organized food bank by the community. So, you know, there are all stories that she's trying to showcase through her work, right? People collaborating, working together, all of these things, all of them. And of course, some of these pictures have like a really powerful, very glad. You know, so this is one of the work samples that we have from Mabel, who is also a really amazing friend. And this is the other one. I created, produced, and curated Latino Life for 5 years. So you go here and link to her work sample, right? This is her. This is Mabel. So she has this really, really powerful video. So just a short video, 5 minutes. Some people will ask you for less time in your work sample. If that is the case, you will have to select the specific part where you want to send them to. Okay. So this is the video memory. The thing that I wanted to really share with you is that in this handout, we are also including links to their particular work samples, because again, we expect you guys to link your materials together, to link your artistic relevance to your work samples. Now, this is another of our students, Gillo, who, by the way, both these people got their grant by the San Francisco Arts Commission. And I wanted to show you a different format for your work samples. Whenever you are building up your, you know, in this case, Mabel, you know, has a website, a portfolio website, which is fantastic. She has access to all of this media produced by this, you know, this media platform, El Tecolote. So she can just link it to a video. There's already a video, right? In case that you don't have that, we're going to be building a simple document, very simple document. It's going to contain your name, you know, the number of work sample that it is, and what is the title of this work sample. So this, just for context, Gillo here is talking about for the PRIDA project, I manage production schedules, promotions, community partnerships, data collection for the final report of the Reigning Foundation. So he's bringing the lure of I already managed grants from these large organizations, the Reigning Foundation, the Jewish Community Foundation, Sellerback Family Fund. So in other words, he's saying, if you give me your money, I already know how to manage it, right? Low key. So you go here and, you know, it's an explanation of the project. If you go here, you can, you know, go to the website. So again, some panelists will take the time to do this, to go over and to look at the different, like to go into the rabbit hole. Some of these folks are going to try and just like scroll through your work samples and see what is, like the most important part. So you can go to the podcast. I think that there's an interview, and if you look at this, is telling you, go to this moment, particularly the San Francisco Arts Commission will give you 10 minutes total for all of your work samples. So because his work samples were built like this, we gave it 4 minutes to this particular one, because and this, he included the translation, the how do you call this, the text of the interview, in case that they didn't want it to go there. Recently I was in some auditions for talking about his experience as an LGBTQ writer, actor, and director. And this is basically the way that he presented his project, right? His work sample. So in only 2 pages, the people that came to learn about his experience were able to really kind of like distill the knowledge that he got from, or that he gathered during this experience. This is another one. I have worked as a production associate for Falls Fury Theater. Boom. What do we have here? Well, we have the banner that is loading. There you go. The times, the dates coincide with what he's saying over there. The website where you can see his picture, and this is basically what happened. What is that that he developed during his time in there. I worked as a production associate, theater company, held in the development of Bill Forward, a theater conference held virtually in October 2021. As a part of the curation team, I made sure that queer, disabled, and BIPOC folks were adequately represented by outreaching to members of this community, including drag performers that hold multiple marginalized identities. Follow the link to see the values and community agreements. Oh, look at this, the typo. Okay. Woo. So, any comments, any questions? What has been your experience so far, my dear friends, in what has been your experience in reaching out, in gathering your work samples so far? Dina, have you tried to do any gathering of your work samples?
Yes, I have. I find at least 2 or 3 pieces every day that go back like at least 10, 15 years. So I just uploaded one that because I remembered an activity that I did with a group of kids at the Malcolm X Jazz Festival. And at first everybody thought, this is crazy, you're never going to be able to do this mural. And I taped out an image of Malcolm X and then put Malcolm X on the bottom, and then told the kids just paint all over it. And it was a huge mess. Everybody thought, this is so weird, this isn't Malcolm X. And then when we pulled back the tape, everybody started to applaud. We're like,
nice.
Yeah, this is done by 2-year-olds. Like, there was a child literally rolling around in the paint.
Nice.
So, yes, but yeah, I'm pulling them up little by little.
So do you have video of that?
I don't have video, but I have a before picture and then an after picture.
Do you have the kids painting it?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. I love that. I really, really, really love that. Denny, how has been your experience going through your pictures and finding, the moments where you have been interacting with artists and giving them flowers?
Yeah, looking through pictures, and fortunately my phone, I lost my phone and a lot of pictures were lost, but I'm reaching through. Yeah.
Has anyone here reached out to anyone to get work samples from the past, pictures, videos?
I'm so nervous to do it. Like, I don't know why. Like, just speaking to certain people who haven't seen you in at least 3 years, like it makes me nervous to ask. Do you have any like recommendations on ways to ask, or should I
Well,
just for it? Just kidding.
I have a tool. I have a tool. And this is just basically something that I would recommend you to read before you make the call. But the first thing is, these people, professionally speaking, and particularly in the arts world, a lot of times we run into people who, are dealing with their own stuff, and they might not have the healthiest ego. So I understand you that sometimes you're like, oh, how is this person going to react? Nevertheless, it is important to understand that, if we want to do this, if we are about building up our portfolio, building up our work samples, building up our projects for the vision that we have into the future, is worth the ask. The worst thing that can happen is they're gonna tell you, no, I don't have anything, but ultimately I think that the risk is worth it, overall, because uh you know yeah, because once you have them, once you do this labor of collecting your memories, um you will have them forever. Like you only have to do it once. And the tool that I want to share with you is just a little text. Actually, I'm gonna go look for it, and paste it here. We call it the green lens. We're not gonna break it down. We're just gonna give you the text. But if you read it before engaging with anyone, I assure you, my friend, it works like a charm. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Trey. Anyone else? One last person before we move on. Do you think that you have what it takes? Do you feel like is there any projects that you might have want to get more documentation of, and you don't know how to specifically address it and put it forward? Yes, Amira?
I don't mean to take up so much space, but a really quick question is trying to get photos of the set design. It was from several years ago, and I reached out to the newspaper that took the original photos, and they've changed ownership. And so the best she has is like a photo of the actual newspaper page that has
Beautiful.
so is that okay? And I have like lower resolution photos of the actual set. So I don't know which I would choose. Like, would it be better to have the big newspaper page? It shows like the kids acting in the space.
Yes, I would love to see that you were in the news with it, and you can do a cutout. And this also applies. Thank you. This is an amazing question. We had one of our artists, one of our former students, Joe. He was quoted in an article. And what is funny about that is, like he had like the perfect quote about something that he was, like working on. So what I recommended him was, go to the website and take screenshots, and within those screenshots, just copy and paste them in the document, the way that I showed you just now. So it's going to end up looking like a Word document or like a PDF, because we're going to submit it as a PDF with a lot of cutouts, the same way that you would grab a newspaper and cut the headline for the header of the so that it looks like, so that so that you can see the newspaper, the name, the date, put it in there, and then whatever frame, whatever square you have of the the covering that they did of the piece. And so it is understood, right? Like it doesn't have to be the specific format. Guys, we're basically telling a story of how we did this. So everything goes, everything goes. As long as you can convey that you had this experience, everything goes. Sometimes some grants will not allow you to have, will not take news coverage as a work sample, meaning if somebody's talking about your project, they will not take that as a work sample. But as long as you are, as long as you have the portion that reads specifically what happened, when it happened, all of these, as Therese said, the what, where, when, how, and who, that is a working work sample. Okay. So I want you to, this is going to be in your works and your work homework this week. We're going to work on our work samples. We're going to create killing work samples this week. I would love for everyone here to have at least 5 work samples, but even just 2 will make a strong application. Okay. Oh, and the last thing is quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. Very, very important. Sometimes we try to gather everything that we can get, and sometimes we're sending blurry pictures that and you write in the comment like that green stain was me. I was wearing a green dress that day. This doesn't work in your favor. The better quality, the best quality, the better. That's what I meant to say. And also, you can also produce your work samples. That is the amazing thing. For one of our very successful grants for last year, sorry, my computer is dying. For one of our very successful work samples of last year, our friend Maricel was putting together a proposal for a program for sound bath ceremonies for veterans and people with PTSD. Now, she did not have any prior experience in doing this for a person with PTSD. So basically, she went to one of the veteran organizations that she was reaching out to, and she invited some folks. She she had at least one volunteer that came over, and she filmed the whole experience. And she ended up editing a video of 3 minutes with her welcoming this person, doing the sound bath, and then interviewing this person at the end. Super, super, super strong work sample that she did not have before she was, in our program. So my invitation to you right now is think if there is a way in which you can create a very powerful work sample that could be a good addition to your grant. Then, in particularly yourself, you could be doing a very intentional flower installation that showcases what you are trying to do for your project. So just take a moment and think of in which ways you could create a powerful work sample for your project. And with that, we're going to go to the next part of our training, correct, Therese? You're muted.
Nita,
Take
are
it away.
you in a space where you can where I can share your screens now, or do you need to move to you need to move locations?
No, are you talking to me? I'm
I'm
good.
talking to Dina.
Oh, Dina.
I still need to move. I still need to move.
Okay,
Sorry.
so I'm gonna propose that we do a little switcheroo and that we do our 3-minute bio break now.
Excuse
we
me, I had a quick question about the work samples. Is this
Oh,
is this yeah, I just wanted to ask about like the because you mentioned the you know, like the time. So like for my example, since you know, I haven't been organizing music events for a few years, if I put work samples from like 5+ years, you know, prior, would that still be worth it, or should I try and come up with new work samples?
You can definitely build upon what you've done in the past, and also, you know, because your idea is very organic, I would also try and do just, you know, like a jam, you know, and record it on different. I mean, I would even love to help you doing that for maybe for map. You know, we just call for a jam session. We have a couple of cameras rolling around, and we create a reel with the highlights of the presentation. I think it would be very interesting having you break down the space, meaning welcoming people, explaining what is the dynamic that you're seeking, and how you know, how are you making people feel welcome, truly welcome into this space, right? So that when people see.
Inviting you to last Saturday, Trey. It was MAP. It's every 2 months, and I texted you the information about the event, but I don't know that you went. I didn't see you.
I apologize, Danny. I'm sorry for interrupting the session, but I did get your text. It was like I was in the middle of something when you text, so I apologize I didn't give you a call. But next time you're having an event, please send it to me. I'll show up at the Red Poppy for you, okay?
So I'm gonna go ahead and have you close this section because the clock is still going.
Yeah.
And if we can take a 3-minute bio break and come back at 7:56, and we'll be ready to do Dina's presentation.
Órale, Jibril, let's talk more.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
3 minutes, let's go.
Aries moon, Virgo rising, fire dragon, mycelium magic. I'm a tree hugger and I have frequent therapy sessions with plants. I'm tired of listening to the news, feeling chills throughout my body, the hairs on the back of my neck rising like tiny fists yelling, "What the fuck?" And the feeling of hopelessness and sorrow for the families that are grieving again. Gun violence is something that I didn't grow up with, but it is one of the many reasons why I stepped away from public school classroom. As an educator, desensitized and numb, feeling unsafe in the classroom. How are you expected to breathe? Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. How are you expected to teach and work with students? So these are, I put some more examples here. Let me see. By working with Indigenous, Black, and Brown children and families, educators who are often,
Sorry.
Okay. Well, we can just go through the slides.
I'm having challenges with the. Oh my gosh. Give me a second, Dina.
If you press escape. Yeah, just the center one, right? Yeah, if you want to start over, that's also okay, Dina.
I'll just start right there. By working with Indigenous, Black, and Brown children and families, educators who are often traumatized and criminalized in every institution, I intend to provide a creative space through art and mindfulness. This project will help me heal as an educator, hold space for others, provide heart lessons and wellness workshops to other teachers, youth, development, and wellness advocates and families to access art, and community wellness. La cultura cura. And then these are some of, this is my practice. I do repujado, which is embossing on metal work, linoleum cut. I've done some mural work. The rose that's on the bottom, that's in the shape of a fist, I did that as a mural in during the pandemic in the Fruitvale district. And then I put a banner across it that said defund OPD. And let me see, what else did I do? The little zine that's in the middle, that's a zine that I did for the Parkway Theater, where I'm a volunteer at. I do karaoke there. And so what my work would entail is a healing arts workshop series to create spaces for celebrating self-care and empowerment, cultural vibrancy, and community. The events will include ritual practices and land acknowledgements to open up the space and provide the foundation for each session. After setting intentions, participants will be introduced to art projects. And so these are some of the things that inspire me. That was the mural that, or not the mural, but it was like this large wooden piece that we made for the Malcolm X Jazz Festival. The children that I work with, we recycled a bunch of boxes and made this huge dragon. And we did a, when it was like the Occupy 99, we took all of the kids out and they were part of the demonstration. And they brought the dragon to the Occupy in downtown. And so through that work, I was the co-founder of Rice and, or actually not the co-founder, I was the founding teacher of Rice and Beans Childhood Collective here in Oakland. And then these are some of the things that I'm doing currently. I make little magnets and affirmation stickers. And let me see, where are these? Right here. These are the sea scents. I made these like inhalers with scented oils during the pandemic when one of my aunts lost her sense of smell. And so I made her a set of these and her sense of smell eventually ended up coming back. And so then I started to make these and sell them for other people. And like I said, I make like affirmation stickers and magnets, and then I'm developing the Cultura Cura workshops. And then I'm also doing a storytelling project through Stories of Home, which is on the next slide. And if you can play that, that would be dope.
Okay. Do I need to do anything sound-wise, Arturo?
You want to go to the share screen button again, real quick. Press it again.
Yeah.
And then the window is going to pop up, and bottom left corner, just click on the share sound.
I'm getting an error message on the video, Dina.
Oh, no worries. It's all good.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's an error message.
All good. I'll figure it out. I'm still learning.
Okay.
So these are ways to support if you have any vending opportunities. Collaborations. I don't know. What else? And then if you want to get a hold of me, I guess that's a way to connect on plant-based party animals.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your presentation. We'll give some love to Dina.
Thank you.
And as a reminder, we don't have sessions. We have next week off. You can use it to catch up or take a break. But the following week, we'll have on Tuesday, February 21st, we have Angel, Afi, Carla, and Brenda presenting.
Excellent. 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 So, folks, before we wrap up, we want to finish one important part of our why. Remember that the two divisions that we said, the why and the how. One of the most common support materials that you will be asked is to create a letter of support, or not to create, to deliver a letter of support with your grant application. So I'm not going to take a long time with this. I'm just going to say, make a list. Part of your homework is going to be to make a list of 5 people that you would like to get to ask for a support letter from. We are not going to ask you to do this right now, but we will give you a sample of how your letter of support should look like. That will also be with your homework today. And my recommendation, and remember this, my recommendation, the first time that you ask is, hey, I'm applying for this grant. I would love for you to write a support letter for me and for this project. Or I would love for you to talk about our collaboration in these specific parts, right? And again, bring it back to your narrative. Number 2, you can, if this person, oh yes, of course, I will write to you. I will write your support letter. If it doesn't happen, you can remind them, hey, listen, my deadline is in so many days, so can you please? If the second time didn't work, the third time, you're gonna send them this sample that we're sending you. Hey, I took the liberty to write a support letter. Can you review it? And if you feel like this is okay, just sign it and send it back to me, or feel free to change the parts that you feel need to be modified. Very simple. You're making it really, really, really easy for them to say yes. Okay. So your homework is going to be to create a list of 5 people that you would like to get a support letter from, and to take a look at this sample that we're going to be sending you. And if you have any questions about this, we can look into this on our next session. There is.
Just a reminder that we don't have a session next Tuesday, but we do have co-working this session this coming Thursday. And basically what that looks like is you can come with questions. I do not recommend that you start over from scratch in these co-working sessions. Some people come and they start working from scratch. Don't take away from all of the energy that you've already put into half of the program. Just build on what you have and go through the process with the project that you have so that you can get through the entire process. Arturo has kind of touched base already on the homework assignments, but if you want to just bring that up one more time, Arturo, the slide.
Which one, sorry?
The homework slide.
Oh, hold on. Oh my. Oh, here.
So there's a couple of slides that we didn't go over in today's session that will be in the PDF slides, and they're just some pro tips. But as I mentioned, we have our co-working this Thursday, and that should be the 9th. And our next session is on the 21st. And the homework is to work on your artistic relevance, work on your work samples, review the list of pointers in the grant application, and start making a list of folks to contact and gathering your support materials. Any questions about the homework? Okay, with that said, we're gonna go around and do a closing if you want to go ahead and close out, Arturo. The question is, what would you like to bring into physical reality this week? Or over the next 2 weeks? In relation to your project? I'm gonna start with Afi. Afi, are you there?
Hi, just getting to a place where I could talk. I'm going to have a clear vision of the steps, a clear vision of my project, write it written down. I have, and then have steps of what needs to be completed in a timely fashion so that I can make the most out of the last 2-3 weeks of this cohort. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome. And also would love to know, just by show of hands, how many folks are planning on coming to the co-working session on Thursday? Okay, great. So next up, Amira.
I've got to write my grant because it's due the 15th. I'm doing the Oregon one, so
So is that what you're going to bring into physical reality?
I'm going to bring it into physical reality and have my letter of inquiry written on time. It's gonna be great.
Awesome. Denny.
I am going to reach to people and then bring those photos a reality.
Great.
And,
Jabril? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Denny.
Wondering what possibility is there that the workshop may get canceled since we may not be many. I only saw 2 hands because
Oh, no, we're going to still have the co-working. Co-working is it's going to happen whether there's just 1 person or 4. The co-working is volunteer.
Okay. So I had a visit to the shelter. I do have volunteering work with shelters, but I will come. I will come.
Great. Thank you, Denny. Julie?
I wish to bring into reality solidifying reconnection with past ensemble members and outreach to potential supporters for letters of support and potential funding assistance.
Dina?
I'm going to keep on getting those photos from like past events. And I know they actually have video of past events that are really powerful. And what was the second question?
Oh, just what are you ready to bring into physical reality after the session? You answered the question.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ima? You're on mute. Ima? Okay, let's move on to Jabril.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So I like it got cut off, but I think what I heard you say was what do I want to bring into reality for the next couple weeks?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I think I missed what was that right?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for bearing with me, by the way. I don't have good reception. But yes, I would love to bring into reality the jam session with Arturo and friends. But really to make to develop strong work samples, because I know that once I develop stronger work samples, that will help motivate me to also develop my artist bio and relevancy statement. So looking forward to doing those in the next couple weeks.
Great. I'm a welcome.
Hi, yes, sorry about that. What I am bringing into physical reality after this session is a fold out artist relevance and work papers.
Work samples?
Work samples.
Great. So I want to thank you guys so much for your time here today. We have a few minutes left if people want to stick around. Gabriel, I wouldn't mind chatting you up a little bit to shift our schedule a little bit for Friday. And if people want to hang out for a minute and chat, we've got a few minutes.
Thank you all for sharing space with me. It was truly an honor tonight. I hope you guys, or everyone, excuse me, I'm trying to steer away from general language. That's just my default thing. But I hope everyone has a fantastic week and a fantastic Valentine's Day if you're in love. And I'll see y'all next week.
Trey, I forgot to ask. I'm sorry, I passed you. What are you planning on bringing into physical reality?
I am planning on bringing my ideas into more depth. I want to bring more depth into what the vendors will look like, what the film component will look like, and also how to bring everybody together.
Awesome. Arturo.
Yes, no, I just wanted to reaffirm that when we were planning on our cohort, we decided to leave the day of Valentine's Day available for everyone here. Mostly because, you know, a lot of people might be busy and we don't want to make you cancel or move your plans. But I will challenge you, my dear friends, to this Valentine's Day, take a moment to also honor your love for yourself, self-love, right? Because only by building that self-love and the relevance of that in our lives, we get to actually build something that that we're proud of, that we're wanting to share and pass on. So enjoy your Valentine's week. Pew.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
all of you.
Gracias.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
No picture, group picture.
Oh, group picture. Let's do a group
Oh,
picture.
shoot. Yeah.
Try, come on, live. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Gabriel.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, I'll stick around.
Okay.